Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome, guests. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford spoke no truer words. Our limits that we place upon ourselves that prevent us from reaching our goals, for the most part, are self-imposed. Consciously, perhaps, but for the most part, they're there because we have yet to explore what's on the other side of those limits. Human beings are amazing creatures. We have created beautiful art. We've invented amazing gadgets. We've enabled technologies that, until a few years ago, were unimaginable. We have achieved impossible tasks. But every single creation that was created, there was somebody there saying, you can't do that. And for every single one that was created, there was somebody there that said, yes, I just did. We've all had teachers or coaches that have pushed us beyond our comfort zone, beyond what we thought we could do. At the time, we thought we were being pushed too hard. But in retrospect, those coaches, those teachers, got more out of us than we thought we could actually achieve. And those teachers were considered the great teachers. They hopefully taught you more than the lesson at hand. What they were trying to do was teach you that you could push beyond your comfort zone. I personally struggled with that quite a bit through high school. At least that's what I wrote, but actually that was more like elementary school, junior high school, college, adulthood. Pushing the limits of what I could do was very difficult for me to say the least. Even when I thought I was pushing the limits, without a third person, an objective viewpoint, you don't know what your limits truly are. And what I discovered was that the missing element to great success was a teacher, was a coach. I pushed my limits with the help of my wife. It was about 3 years ago. We had never run 5 miles before. We received a brochure from Team and Train, or TNT. It said, hey, you guys can run 26.2 miles in our 5-month course if you just help us raise money for the Leukemia Foundation. Sure, why not? 26.2 miles in June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, five months during the summer in Texas. Why not? Our first run, 3 miles. Couldn't walk the next day. The following day was even worse. What were we thinking? Here, we got to do 26.2 miles. We pushed, we got pulled, we were dragged. Right when we started thinking 26.2 miles is an impossible task. That's way beyond the limits of what we should expect of ourselves. TNT would bring in what they call an honored hero. It was a leukemia victim who was being pushed beyond limits that no human being should have to endure. You have an 8-year-old kid, no hair, from the chemotherapy, and no end in sight to the chemotherapy. And he's cheering you on, handing you water on your run. Those last few painful miles, they're irrelevant in the scheme of life. It resets your baseline. Absolutely. We weren't being pushed anymore. We were motivated. And having that motivation, proper motivation now in place, and seeing what our struggle to run was and compare to what the struggle to live is, that first 3-mile run now was a warm-up. It's no longer that painful 30-minute run. It's a 15, 20-minute warm-up. That 26.2 miles reset my baseline. It pushed my limits well beyond what I thought I could ever do. I was now at the point, I was mature enough that I was able to accept the lesson that my teachers had hoped to convey upon me for all those years. I was able to realize and set higher goals. I became really obnoxious because I just run a marathon. I would tell everybody, listen, you can run a marathon too. It's 26.2 miles. Just do it. I still think I'm right to some extent. At 42, last February, I ran my last marathon in 4 hours and 4 minutes. I was bested by, what's her name? Barbara Feldman. Miss Barbara Feldman. She completed the marathon in 3 hours and 58 minutes. She was 59 years old. She knows how to push the limits. It's the funny thing about reaching new limits. You expect those higher expectations to be imposed and be seen from the people around you. Our country was founded on a very strong work ethic. T.R. Fehrenbach wrote in the History of Texas and Texans that Scotch-Irish work ethic did it. Wondrous changes for America. They came in, they settled the Appalachians, the Midwest, and the South through very strong, hard work in settled places that nobody else had ever settled before. Others emulated their hard work and began to see the fruits of their success. Success breeds success. Recently, there was a rallying cry heard over the airwaves. Yes, we can. These people gathered to the motivator, the speaker, and he achieved great success. He got things accomplished. People rallied together and enjoyed that collective goodwill. Bob the Builder got things done. He did. But it was because he expected the people around him to reach the level of limits, reach the limits that he had set for himself. It wasn't the collective goodwill that created his success. It was having that boat floated by the rising tide. America can continue to set the standard for human achievement that we've seen over the past century or so by enabling individuals to maintain that freedom, push their limits, and to show the rest of the world what's beyond those limits. Thank you.